Hell yeah.
All right. High Calling Podcast, episode number 18. Today, we have Andy Ladner, friend of mine, fellow plant hand, API, computer, and valve guru, and also the guy, whenever I started doing this podcast, he designed my first logo. Very supportive guy. What's up, Andy?
What's up, brother? Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Happy to finally
man.
make it on this.
Yeah, I mean, you was
Yeah,
a big part starting it out, giving me ideas and trying to help me do this thing.
yeah, we definitely threw some stuff back and forth. I don't know if
Yeah.
anything stuck or not, but we did it.
Absolutely. Test
Yeah.
recording and everything. And I mean, I showed you a picture, and the next thing, you working nights over there at the plant, and you wired up, and next thing you know, you got all kind of computer AI generated stuff, and I'm like, dude, where do you come up with this stuff?
Yeah, man. Well, I try to use devices that are smarter than me, and I, I I don't think I know how to maximize them quite yet, but I'm definitely trying to get a little closer to that.
Yeah,
So they help me generate ideas. But granted, some things just kind of happen. There is some things that just kind of, I don't know, just come together like a little puzzle.
yeah. Well, it kind of comes together organically, and whatever you kind of, I guess, gravitate to is what you're good at and the way your mind's geared up. And mine is more interactions and hands-on. And I know the way your mind works, like you delve deep into a bunch of the computer stuff.
Yeah, I do kind of veg out on some of the nerdy stuff, even in our industry. I don't
Yeah.
know, I always gravitated to that. I feel like things make sense a little bit better.
Mhm.
The I guess the way our industry is wired as far as the codes go and all of the things that go in part of it. I don't know, the background stuff that no one really looks at. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. Because I mean, I was trying to figure out DaVinci Resolve, that editing
know?
software that you kind of turned me on to. And you was like, yeah, that's the basic one. You should be able to use that one. And I'm over there, I'm fat fingering
Yeah.
everything, and I'm trying to figure out. And I was just like, I'm done.
You know, they always have to make everything way more difficult than it has to be. But honestly, the more you start to learn about it, the more you understand like the reasoning they put all those little things in there and why you can break things down as deep as you can. And it's really what makes the difference between the videos we shoot with our iPhone and the videos you see on TV that, a billion-dollar company put together.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of time to learn how to do all those without just making the whole thing go haywire. And I'll be honest with you, I've made things go on the haywire side very frequently. It still happens every day.
Well, and I always wondered, I've worked nights before, but I liked it whenever I first met you, and you was on days, and we met together at Flint Hills. What was that, 21 or 22?
Yeah, yeah, I
And
think it was
you said something
21.
about, man, they put me on days. Man, they messed up. I'm gonna be late every day. I like to work nights, and I was like, man, like to work days. And whenever we was over there in Marathon in Garyville this year in 2024 in February, like you was just doing stuff and you putting together videos on a computer like that. What was the energy company from or that
Yeah,
water
from
company from right there
yeah, it's like
that
a
you put
little
together?
a little utility company there local to the house. Yeah, it's I guess they sell power, they sell internet, they sell everything. I don't really know this company, and they don't service the area I actually live in. They're actually the town next to where I live. But we have the little Facebook groups that they always have, and somebody got on and one day and made a comment, and that comment it gained a lot of traction in the group pretty much immediately. And so I knew, hey, now's the time to strike. And I think it was like our first or second week on the job. So it was super slow. I mean,
Uh-huh.
they didn't need me at all. And I had all that time. And so I just dove in, started downloading little clips of this and that, and started putting stuff in. And the file that housed all of the material was ridiculous. And I only ended up using maybe a few of each of them. Like, it's crazy. You have all these ideas, and they all sound great as they're firing off, but
Mhm.
as you go to start putting them together, you're like, this is not working.
Need
Like,
to close some of these windows. There's too many windows open at one
way,
time.
way too many options, like way too many options. And I'm like,
Yeah,
well, this one now I'm like picking. I get a little too detail oriented sometimes. So,
yeah.
uh, what should take 10 minutes is going to take me an hour and a half because once I'm in it, we swimming, you know. We- no no getting out until we're done.
Somebody's got to throw you a life preserver and a lifeline. Andy, you all right in
That's it.
there? I got this big dog.
Yeah, we getting there, cuz. Facts, dude.
Yeah,
Facts.
but dude, that video came out, and I'm like, dude, that was like you trolled this guy so hard. I was just like, oh
So
my
bad, man.
lord,
Yeah,
and what you can do in 10 hours. I'm just like, oh my lord.
it scared me, to be honest with you, because I don't feel like I am. I mean, even a fraction as good as a typical average hobbyist. Not even
Yeah,
a professional, just a hobbyist. But for some reason, that one just clicked, and it just kept coming together. And whenever you get that flow, especially, I mean, I was working with one cat. I never heard a word he ever said because he spoke at a volume of -7, and the other cat, he, I don't know, I don't really know what he did, but it was not talk. He was not a talker,
yeah.
and so here I am, like an obvious talker. Like, I mean, I'm gonna talk to myself. If no one wants to talk, I'll just do both sides if I have to, you know. But I'm okay
Change
with
clothes,
that.
change
Yeah,
clothes, and come back in the room. Be like, hey, how's it
yeah,
going?
yeah. I'll do the whole swap, man. You know. But
Yeah,
whenever I get into videos and stuff like that, I can dive in, and it helps with alleviating the boredom. And so, yeah, that one was a fun one though. Yeah, it turned out to not be nearly as inappropriate as I thought it was gonna be, but probably still more inappropriate than it should have been. Yeah, you know,
it turned out good, man.
it was. I felt like it was perfect. It was
Classic.
perfect for the group. It blew up immediately, which
Yeah,
I think it just because mainly confused people. It was like
it was
it looked
very
realistic.
realistic.
I mean, it looked like a cheesy commercial that you would see on at like 11 o'clock at night. You know, you got
Oh,
Peter Popoff, and then you got, bam, here's Conway Corp. You know, like,
yeah.
yeah,
And we're
Sancho
off in the
service.
Hey, we're off in the Dirty Sancho service for half off this month, and I'm like, oh my lord, where'd you get this?
Yes, yeah. And
Killer,
I,
killer.
honestly, that was one of those random clips I just had over there in the reserve, and I'm like, it's just this goofy
I've been
looking
waiting for
guy.
my opportunity.
Yeah, you know, he's just like, jump on in, dude. And I mean,
Yeah,
if you're gonna bring in new customers, it's cheesy, it's late at night. Well, I mean, you gotta have but wait, you know, call
there's,
now, and
but wait,
yeah,
there's more.
there's more, right? So,
Yeah,
I mean, all of the greats who have succeeded on late night TV commercials have all used those lines, you know?
sure.
So, why not? And it
Yeah.
works.
So tell us a little bit about you, where you are, and how you got
Well, again, I'm at Lowe's. No, I'm just
there.
kidding.
In the
So
parking lot of Lowe's.
yeah, I am at a Lowe's, but I'm in Evansville, Indiana. Yeah, it's a weird place. It's a little different than home, but I live in Arkansas, so I'm used to the trees, the hills, and all of that. The
Do the hills have
people in
eyes up there?
so here, uh, I feel like they're a little bit more fish-eyed almost. You know what I mean? Like you can't sneak up on them. Like if you get close to their side, they got you. You know? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and it kind of I don't know where to go because I'm from a place where we go the other way. You know, our eyes start getting a little too close. You know, and
Ears are a little blue and like
yeah,
tiny.
exactly, man. So
Yeah,
you know, as much as we travel, we've seen every culture in its true identity. You know,
yeah,
and man, it's pretty much bad everywhere. We all collectively suck at this
Yeah,
thing called life, like just life in general. Yeah,
yeah. Individually, we all suck. You know.
yeah. I think that's probably where it started. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know. Well, we were no good apart, so we figured if
yeah.
we came together, it'd be better. But you know.
That's right. Let's get all these cavemen together and see if we can go ahead and make a hut.
Oh yeah, man. But there's always like the good side though to every place we go. It, we sometimes get to actually see it. Sometimes we don't. But yeah, when we do see it, it's nice. This place, for instance, is not that place. This is this is the other place. This is the place that's not really. No one visits here. You've never heard anyone be like, "Where are you going on vacation?" Like Evansville. No, no one.
No.
I don't think people do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
and
out there once.
I'm
What?
not hating because no one has ever said Morrilton, Arkansas either. So I mean,
Right.
I'm I'm blown away every time I'm at an airport flying home, and there's other people on the plane because I'm like, where are you going? Like, I know this ain't a layover. Nobody lays over in Morrilton. So I
You
mean,
actually have an airport in Morton?
we do. It's really nice. It's
Really?
my favorite airport in the world. They've got it figured out. You just have one hallway and you have five planes, and that's it. You ride one of the
Yeah.
five, or you wait your turn because that's it. And it's a short airport. You show up like 5 minutes before they close the door. They'll toss you in there. They don't care. You know, it's not like the big cities like Denver. I showed up. I think I had like 55 minutes before my flight, and they were like, "Ah, it's too late." Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about your job in the plants. What do you do?
So I do the piping inspection on most jobs. I enjoyed the piping inspection. Yeah, it's not
Mm,
really exciting. I wish it was. Like some people have cool titles. It's not. I really just look at pipes and welds and a lot of valves. And valves are by far my favorite.
mhm.
I get, and I know we've spoke previously about this, but
Why are valves your favorite?
man, because no one else knows anything about them. And so it was like, you know what? I'm not ever gonna gain the amount of knowledge that a guy that's 25 years in the industry is gonna know. There's no way. I don't have. You have to spend 25 years in the industry to get that information. But in 25 years, collectively as a group, none of them took the time to learn about this one thing. So I don't have to be as smart as them in all areas because I can bring something to the table that they don't have. And honestly, it's just trying to make people feel the importance of it because it's been an item that's why it's been neglected, right? They
Sure.
neglected it because everybody shoved it off as not important. But if you really look at the studies and look at all the failures we've had in our industry, it's kind of like the root cause to majority. So it, it should be cared more about, but because people don't know about them, yeah, it's kind of hard to, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to
And
put
for
your foot
it,
down.
yeah, and for anybody out there that doesn't know what a valve is, who's not out in the industry, a valve is going to be something outside, like a faucet outside your house that closes liquid or gas off from flowing through something. And it's kind of like to stop. But dude, I thought it was funny. Whenever I first met you, you're out there and you're on the phone with the valve company. And I'm like, what you
Yeah,
doing? He's like, just a minute, dog. I'm on the phone with the valve manufacturer. Hey, when did you make these valves? And tell me the serial numbers. And I'm like,
yeah,
what is he doing? Oh, he's arguing with the valve company right now. He says that this valve, it's right here in front of him. And they're saying it doesn't exist. And I'm like, why? He said, he's just got a fetish for valves. And I'm like,
yeah.
what? He likes them? And like you said, nobody knows anything about it. And dude, I'll tell you, the valve guide that you actually made up and you put together all of that stuff, it's an invaluable tool that I don't know where another reference material like that is. It's pretty impressive.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Man, I
Yeah.
spent a lot of hours, and actually, it all started on the job that we first met on in
In Flint
Texas.
Hills?
Yep, that was where it all
Wow. Okay.
started, and it was due to the way that they ordered them. So they normally would order us a data plate on the valve, which will give
Mm,
you all of your materials, your breakdown of how the valve was built, what's in it, and that stuff is very important according to what process that valve is going into. So
sure.
um, getting that part right is very, very important because the outside of almost all of the valves is one of two materials. It's
Yeah.
going to be carbon steel or stainless steel, and the bodies are not normally the problem. It's the inside, and that inside part is what no one knows how to really figure out what is it, And we have a book that tells us what needs to go in place, but we didn't have a book to say what is this. And it it turns out that they left the market to kind of just freely do what they chose, and so every manufacturer has its own set of codes that it can use to identify these. So it was kind of just trying to figure out how to hack that code, how to get that code from all of these together. And
How did you get that code from altogether?
so I learned a lot on my very first phone call. My very first phone call was to Velan Valves, and I know I'm not saying that name according to how most of them. It's kind of
Very
one
well.
of those names. Listen, I'm from Arkansas. It's Velan, all right. It's Velan at my house.
That's
You call it.
exactly how it's spelled.
That's it, man. Like we hit them letters, okay? If you choose not to, that's cool. But in our
Sure.
house, that's what you are. And I told them,
I call it like I see it.
I call it like I see it, man. Yeah, exactly. So I contacted just the 1-800 number on their website, like call for support, and I was like, hey, I need support, and they asked me who I was, where I was, and kind of why I was calling. They were very confused by it. I was like, you must not get a lot of calls from people like this.
You must not know who I am right now.
Right. And in fairness, though, at that time, I didn't even really know. I was like, I already was faking it in the industry, trying to just cling on to something that I could boost my importance level. And that is a key factor in our industry if you want to stay working.
Sure.
Because if you don't bring something to the table, and our
Yeah.
table's small, we don't have room. So, and you're
Push you
competing
out.
with guys who are, of your status, of your experience. And when you first step into, day one, what do you bring? Why are you here? So,
Yeah. Because I mean,
make
I'm
your,
still nobody in the industry, man. They got a lot of guys, and they have 100 years of, experience, and they got a bunch of guys, and their names are so well known in the industry, and they've been doing it. And a pool of knowledge, and myself, like you coming there with the valves and everything, and it just blew me away. But it's just everybody knows something really well, and that's cool that you're finding your niche and trying to bring the spotlight to it and trying to make that information not only it's valuable information, but nobody knows how to find it and making it easy
right,
to use. Because dude,
and
you
making
put
it
that
easy to use.
yeah, because you put that little file together, and not only does it have all of the pages of the PDF file, like you got it hyperlinked and like you could hit it, bring you straight to the page. And I'm like, this is amazing. That's not my cup of tea though, Andy. That's your cup of
Yeah,
tea.
yeah, that is truly where I shine, and
Yeah,
the goofy little things that are really of ill importance to anyone. You can
yeah,
go your whole entire life not knowing how to make those quick links in a PDF, and you'll be just fine.
yeah,
And unfortunately, like that's my thing, and I'm like, well, because I couldn't tell you who the football players' names are on the field or anything like that, but I can tear up a PDF if you need me to.
yeah.
Look, I
And I
got you.
mean, you just got to put it out there because they had, that guy who put together that tower and exchanger book, and everybody said he looked like Shrek. And
Yeah,
you had the green thing. And I think you need to take a picture with that beard, like we was talking about earlier. You look just like Adam Sandler, and just put like a picture of
just
Adam Sandler.
yeah,
Adam Sandler's valve book.
yeah. I should hit him up and see if he'll sponsor it or something, man. Be like, come on, dude, help me out, man.
Yeah, give me a
Like,
shout out, man. Bring this
yeah,
thing mainstream. Tell them about
exactly.
valves, Adam.
Right. Look, I'll do a movie for free for you. Like, just
Yeah, stunt
yeah,
double, Big Daddy too.
I got you. Look, that's what I'm here for.
I
Yep.
love it. I
And
love it.
no, and the book has done great. And the brain book, I think, is the one you were referencing there. And I heard a lot of stories about the guy that made that book, and
Mm,
I never got to meet him. He passed away, unfortunately, before our paths ever crossed in the industry. But his book is a legend. I mean,
sure.
in the vessel community, the 510 side versus the piping side, if you're day one on the job and you don't have his book, you're way
You're
further
lacking.
behind than you have to be,
Sure.
you know. And I hope that this can be the same way for piping guys, um, because the information was not easy to get from all of them, because they do hold on to this information as kind of proprietary, I guess. So
Yeah.
if you don't have a reason to have it, they don't want you to have it.
How exactly did you get all that information?
So the first time I called, I told him I was an inspector. I was like, "Hey, I'm out here. This is where I'm at. This is your client. This is your customer. They asked me to verify that they're buying your stuff and they're putting it in the right place. I need your help." And they were like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "I'm the inspector." They're like, "Are you buying?" I was like, "No, no. We already bought. I'm looking at it." And
Mm,
that call ended pretty much right there. That was it. you know, um, I think she, I think she gave me another number to call or something. And she was like, "Maybe they can help." And I was like, "All right," but I could feel I was pushed off. I was like, "All right, that's not gonna work."
not to
So,
regroup.
man, I came up and I was like, "You know what? I really don't enjoy this job I'm on. Uh, if I get ran off, it's all good." You know what I mean? I feel like I can explain myself to other companies well enough that it won't really impact me. So I'm gonna just roll the dice and I'm gonna call them back and I'm gonna pretend to be the chief inspector. And is it a great idea to pretend to be the boss of of your client? The I mean, he's the top of the top for us. And so
Yeah.
probably not, but I tried
Yeah.
to carry him in a very good light. I tried
Right.
to
You
be
made him
very
shine at the
respectful.
end
Yeah,
of it.
absolutely.
Like that
Yeah.
that chief of inspection's knowledge of valves is pristine.
Oh, I mean, he's on top of it. He knows what questions to ask. He knows a lot about a lot. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I know the lingo now. And I learned the
Yeah.
lingo through trial and error by saying the wrong thing and getting
Mm,
shut down and they just
yeah.
disappear.
Yeah.
Um,
So you learn the path by failure.
Absolutely. And I still do that to today. So if there is a few manufacturers who are very open with their stuff, they want you
Yeah.
to have that so you can decipher what is what. There's just a ton that don't. And the problem is a lot of people don't know how to look up that information, because you might know what you need, like what information you need, but you might not know how to ask the right question to get that information. And that was the hardest part for me was, well, one, how do I decipher it? And once I figured out there was this code, well, what does the code mean, and how do I get the answers to that? And man, that was another trial and error. Just a lot of talking to a lot of different people, a lot of confused people who were like, "Who are you, and why are you asking questions like this?" And so I just pretended I wanted to buy a bunch of valves. And I told him, I was like, "Man, we got a turnaround going on. My guy just took a
He's,
vacation. Like, he just rolled out on us.
he,
Yeah, this just got tossed on my plate. Listen, I'm on my personal. I'm not even in the plant. I'm on my laptop at the house." I was like, "Listen, I'm a
you're staying right now.
yeah, yeah. I'm sending you an email. Listen, this is gonna come from my personal email. I'm not even in the office, but you gotta please help me. I'm trying to order these valves before this job starts, and I'm in a bind, man. I need the information on how to order it because I don't know what I'm asking for." And I'll be honest with you, it was butter. I mean, she just was like, I mean, just here's everything.
It
Here's
was
the world.
that
Yeah,
is the every spec sheet that we have.
yeah. I mean,
Yes.
next to just giving me a VIP pass to come tour the plant. I mean, that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And
So
as soon as,
you got a
yeah,
valve compendulum.
exactly. As soon as I found that window, I just went after them. I was Googling just valve names and valve manufacturers, and I was learning that I'd call one, hang up, I'd call the next, and I'd get the same guy that I just talked to. And I'd be like, oh shit, how'd that happen? Well, that company's owned by that company, who is also parented by this company. And it's like, oh my God, these are all connected. Like
Yeah,
the chain of things that you find out along the journey of learning
yeah.
is just, oh, it's crazy.
Can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what not to do.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, I got a list of things that don't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
The list of things
Hey,
that do work short.
right, right. Tell me the difference between expectation and reality.
So expectation and reality is you expect me to be here at 6 a.m. and in reality, I'm not getting there before 6:15. It's just not going to happen. And I'd love to tell you that at almost 40 years old, sure, my favorite, you need to set your alarm clock 15 minutes earlier. And I'm like, Jesus, how did I not think of that? You know what I mean? Because I'm always 15 minutes late. I could just set my alarm 15 minutes early.
You know,
Hi
put
out.
everything back 15 minutes. Bye, yeah.
Boom. So I do that. That day, I'm 30 minutes late. And he's like, well, what happened? I don't know. I don't know.
You messed
You
my schedule
shifted.
up.
You messed everything. I was so close, and then you messed it up. So thanks. That didn't work. Now what do you have? He's like, well, maybe you just need to sleep here. I'm like, don't tell me I will, but I'm on the clock.
Right, right.
But
And I thought it was funny
yeah,
because whenever I first got there, they said, "Hey, we're gonna run a bet who's gonna be late the most times," and everybody was like, I got my money on Andy."
yeah, absolutely, man. I am a winning bet. Listen, if there's one thing that you want to throw money on is I will be late. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
I
I
mean,
mean, they say as long as you're good, you can just show up when you want, right?
you know what? I like to think that on top of the valves, I bring another thing to the table, which is I'm basically 5 foot tall. I weigh 100 pounds, and there's nothing I'm afraid to go get inside of. You give me a 12 by 12 hole, I'll go through it with everything on, no problem. And I'll knock it out. And 90% of the guys in our industry, there's no way. They're not fitting. They look like muffins instantly. As soon as they hit that hole, they get about to the chest, and it
Right.
instantly just turns into a muffin with two little legs sticking out. And
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite things to see, and I see it so frequently. And it's just it,
We call that bad built. You know what I mean? And
it,
it just happens.
yeah, it almost looks like they're melting. You know what I mean? Like
And
I'm like,
it
damn,
stops
dude.
at the belt.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, man, like that's terrible. And I know they look at me and they're like, man, it must be nice to be skinny, but I'm like, nah, not always. But
Yeah,
if you
it
ran into
helps.
me, it's not nice to be skinny. Don't run into me. But
Yeah,
but yeah,
and actually we're talking about it right there in Mount Vernon. They got a facility called Country Mark, and I was still kind of a green inspector, and me and another guy, Brett, we were doing towers and drums over there. And so, as a 510 inspector, we climb into the vessels and we do internal inspections on them. So we have to climb through the manholes, and you know all this from speaking to everybody. But I was trying to climb in an 18-inch manhole, and I'm kind of wide up top. And
yeah, well,
so
yeah,
I gotta go to get in there. And the other guy's with me. He said, "I'm gonna go to the top, you go to the bottom." It's like, all right, cool. So I try to get in there and I stopped at my shoulders. I couldn't get all the way in. So I tried to stick my legs in there and I jammed up at my shoulders again. I just couldn't get in. So I'm trying to Superman it. I can't get in.
yeah.
He's like, "Move out the way. I'm gonna jump in there and I'm gonna go." And I'm like, all right. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I can't get in the hole." He said, "I'm leaving." So he went up and the whole watch, he was sitting there and he said, "Bro," he said, why don't you put your foot on the handrail?" And so I went ahead and I put my arms all the way up to it and I put my foot on the handrail and I pushed at the thing and I fell in the hole. and I fell on top of the trays inside of there, and I was like, oh, and you remember that movie Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, when the dude falls out the rhinoceros' ass? That's exactly what it
Yes.
felt like. So I fell on the
Yeah.
ground, and I looked around. I said, "Yeah, I made it in." And I looked out the hole. I said, "Who's gonna get me out of here?"
Oh,
So
how am
anyway,
I getting?
I grabbed my bag, and I must have sweated enough to make it out the hole. But
Yeah, got a little slippery on you. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
man. I'll
So
tell you,
my
it's crazy some of the positions that we get put into going through some of this equipment, man. Going through trays. I mean, when you're on a 5, 6 different levels, looking like a snake going through there, and your body's all weirdly contorted.
oh
And
yeah,
we just do it like it's normal, and then we go back to
yeah,
the office like my back kind of hurts, and we don't know why. You know,
right,
we're like, I don't know. I think it's I'm just getting old. Like, nah, man,
yeah.
it's probably what we just did.
Probably bad choices in school. That's how we ended up
Oh,
here.
if I would have had Adderall and AI in high school,
Yeah,
we probably wouldn't even know each other, brother. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, so
You'd be
I'm
off.
glad I didn't have those things. I mean, my life would be better on my side, but
Yeah.
no, no, man,
Tell me
yeah,
about the AI evolution.
it's blowing up. It's
Hmm.
taking over everything. They can use. So I seen it on the news the other day. They were talking that they would call you like a robocall almost, and you would answer hello, whatever, yada yada. Well, when you're doing that, they're recording you. They run it through the AI, regenerate your voice back out, and then they call someone that you know, uh, asking for money or whatever, giving them a story, but it sounds like you talking, which
Genuinely, just like you.
absolutely. So, and they're controlling all of it. So, my wife's grandmother, I'd say it was about 6 months ago, called and asked, I guess, her mom that if my wife had got arrested. So what happened was she got a phone call from,
Mhm.
I guess, this AI software, and she said it sounded just like my wife. But she had told her, like, hey, grandma, I got arrested. I mean, that was one of the things I think that threw it off was because she called her like grandma or Mimi or whatever, and it was not the right pet name or whatever that they have for each
So
other.
something was rotten in Denmark.
Yeah, yeah, something
Right,
was
right,
off,
right.
but it sounded just like her. So she was still on the hook. This is an elderly woman. I mean, she is very like I mean,
Very
I want to say
gullible.
she's very mid 80s.
Yeah,
Lived through the Holocaust. I mean, has a Holocaust ring. Yeah. So
yeah,
she is she is old. And
yeah.
she was very gullible. And the person said that she just needed $500 wired over to her so that she could get bail. Well,
Did she send it?
she told her that she would, but when she hung up, because of that little name difference, she called my wife's
Something.
mom. Yeah, and
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, did, did she go to jail?" And she was like, "What? No, I just seen her like 5 minutes ago. She's good. She's at the
Wow.
house." And so,
Yeah.
of course, she called her at that point and was like, "Yo, like I just got a call," and she said it sounded like she was talking to the same person again. And I was like, "Dang!" I was like, to see that on the news the other day, it was like, yeah, that happens for sure.
And it's crazy because my buddy put me on this show called Trafficked with Maria Von Zeller. I think she was on the Rogan podcast a couple of times. But she's got scammers. I want to say that might be the first episode on her series, and then like drug trafficking and kidnappers and assassins and just all kind of stuff. But she goes undercover, and they got all these people. They talk to her, but they have their faces covered naturally because they're criminals. And she went to Jamaica, and most of the scams come out of Jamaica and out of actually Israel. And they say that in Jamaica, they got all of those tourists that come in to go down to Jamaica, and these people work at the hotels. They got these strong Jamaican accents, but because they communicate with so many Americans, they learn the language of America, and they could talk with a perfect American English accent
Okay.
and just talk perfectly. And they get these call lists from the hotels, whatever way. So whenever they get off of work at the hotel, they go home, they make 100 calls. and they're trying to solicit money out of these people. And they might strike out 99 times, but sometimes they hit these guys, and these are older people, they're lonely, and they want somebody to talk to and want somebody to
Right.
get
Yeah.
engaged with. And
Yep.
so they're looking for somebody to help, and they don't have any way to spend their money. And there's several stories that she talked to these people, and they was like, "Oh, you just won a car. Oh, really? I can't. Do you remember that sweepstakes that you got into?" They're like, "Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
You won the
Yep.
2024 Cadillac Escalade. Hey, we got to send it to you, but you're gonna have to pay the taxes and da 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 da.
Yep.
And we
Yep.
just need you to spend us $500, and they'll mail the money, and these people will send them a dummy key to their house. It's like, hey, did you get your key? Hey, we sent your key. We just need you to go ahead and pay the import fees. It's going to be $2,500 more dollars. And next thing you know, they got the key, so they're on it. Like, oh yeah, I got it. And they're lonely. They don't have any family that they talk to. And next thing you know, they're engaged with these people. Next thing you know, they're out of $3,000. And these people just make these calls back to back. Wow.
Yep.
And now they don't even need that because they got AI. They just got to get you like, no, this is not me. Bye. Don't want to talk to
Yeah.
you. And they're
Exactly.
calling.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No,
And now
because the
that, yeah,
first
they,
time I tripped out about the AIs, whenever you wrote some stuff or whatever, for me, like a description, I'm like, dude, how'd you get so good with your words? He's like, oh, that's just Chat GPT. I'm like, what the
yep.
hell is
Yep.
Chat GPT? And I'm so ignorant. I didn't even know what it was.
Man, so it was another inspector that turned me on to that. He knew I was kind of into this nerdy stuff, I guess, and he was on a job and somebody was talking about it, and he just sent me a random text. He said, "Hey, it sounds like you need to check out this website. Uh, it sounds right up your alley or something like that." And it was Chat GPT, and I was like, "All right." And at that point, man, it was like beta. Like at
Uh-huh.
that point, they didn't even know if it was going to actually be released or something like that. It was like it was early in the game, and man, it was a game changer to see it come to life like that. To just say, "Hey, you know, I need you to pretend to be a doctor and give me the lingo to say such and such," and
Yeah.
it just spits it out, man. And then you just go from one AI software to the next AI software. That's all anything is anymore. Is just AI to that AI to that AI. And yeah, and then I could have Donald Trump saying it in his own mannerisms, 5
Uh-huh.
seconds later.
Possibly the greatest AI revolution of the
Exactly.
century.
It's
And
kind of
and
it
dude,
was almost spot
you
on.
showed that to me, like, and you was like, oh, I could get Donald Trump to say that, and you punched it in, and I'm like, you got to be freaking, like, my mind was,
Absolutely, dude. Yeah,
I
mine
mean,
was as well when I
yeah,
first saw it. It was crazy. I was like, "What?"
dude, yeah, six
Yeah.
months ago, I mean, I had no conception of, how
Yeah.
amazing AI was, and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. And
What
you was
well,
just dabbling, and I'm just like,
just
dude,
yeah, just getting it.
how'd you write that email or that introduction for this valve guide to these
Yeah,
people so well? Oh, that's just Chat GPT. And I'm like, what the hell? And
absolutely, man.
I was
Yeah,
like, it even makes a coon ass like me sound intelligent, and that
so
takes a lot.
it's absolutely, man. Hey, look, same here, brother. Look, you know how many times it auto corrects like my verbiage? Like I'll send them a message and it'll fix my grammar and send it back first because it's like, all right, hold on, I'm gonna teach you what you're asking, but first, this is where the comma goes. It's like it's
Yeah,
talking down to me already. Like AI is already flipping. Like it's
talking
coming.
to me.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, all right, chill out, dude. Like, calm down.
Yeah,
Like it ain't so serious. I was
hey,
typing fast.
that's right. I'm sorry. I make a lot of mistakes. You don't have to
Yeah,
correct all of them. Just
yeah,
give me a snippet. Hey,
right, exactly.
before we got on here, you mentioned something about school shootings, and
I did.
tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I guess all right, so I am not good at keeping up with current trends, I guess,
No,
when it comes to
I got something else I want to talk to you about this, but I'm not either. But go ahead. Sorry, I'm gonna cut you short.
oh yeah, you know what I mean? So my wife calls me today. She says that she had got a message from the school. The school sent out this little memo thing that says basically, dear parents, there was a threat going on kind of countrywide with school shootings, and you know our county has been targeted, and they did get a threat. I think at our high school and elementary school. So naturally, my wife had sent me a message like, "Hey," and then she had, I think, immediately messaged my oldest daughter first and asked her like, "Hey, is everything okay?" And my daughter was like, "No, like everyone's talking about like escape routes if there's a shooter." She's like, "I'm really worried, and I really don't want to be here."
So was there a shooting or was there a phone call? What
Yeah.
exactly was it? A threat?
So they didn't actually say how they received the threat. They only said that there was a threat given to the high school and to the elementary, but apparently it happened not at our only at our two schools. It happened in like the next five or six counties, public schools, and it was all at the
Hmm.
same time. So I mean, just it was kind of it had all resources set like spread out everywhere. So she asked me if she should check them out at school. I was definitely, yeah, check them out. But by the time I could respond to her, she had already checked them out, so it didn't matter
Right.
anyway. But she was on top of it, so I was like, "You're killing it, you got it."
Yeah.
And so she did go get them, but she said there was a lot of police out in the town, and she said there was a helicopter out flying over the schools. So it was a credible threat to the point that they would do that at least. But I'm sure a lot of that was just kind of being overcautious, but
Cautious.
it's
Well,
crazy
there,
that
there,
such a
there was a
trend could
shooting.
exist.
Well, there was a shooting not too long ago. I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago. And I was telling you, I just did 2 podcasts ago. I want to say I did this guy named Craig Gaspar, and I actually do jujitsu with him, and he lives right there close to Baton Rouge. And he's a really good guy, he's a business owner, and he's actually an inventor. And if you go check out the podcast, take a look at it. You can check him out on Facebook, Craig Craig J. Gaspar Jr. And like he comes up with all these little inventions, and he's got like this company, and he sells it to the plants, and he actually has some kind of link or whatever, and he links them all up, and he's way more eloquent than his words than I am. But the thing I'm talking about right now is he's got this robot, he calls it, and it helps stop school shooters. Basically, it's got a pressurized cartridge in there. It's got this high tensile net, and basically, it's got sound detection devices that pick up on different frequencies of gunshots, and it directs the thing, and it fires within a half a second, and entraps the assailant or the gunman with this net, and it slows them down for about 30 seconds with so they can get and the people can get out the way just in case something happens. So if they fire the first shot, it'll stop them before they could start shooting massive and start doing that.
Yeah,
Man,
that's
if it
crazy.
could,
That's a
if it saves one person,
yeah,
it it's amazing. And he's trying to figure it out. He's got it. He's in a beta phase of testing it. He's going through some other tests and stuff, and
no,
he's going to be looking for some backers to try and help him and try to get it forward. And I was like, dude, I think it's amazing. Like if
yeah,
you come and but I
yeah.
mean, he just came up with and designed this thing.
That's not. But see, so I actually hate those kind of people, and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why.
Talented people.
I really do because I'm like, you know what? I'm like,
Yeah,
dang, dude, like, because I'm like,
yeah,
but my thing's good though, and my thing's,
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, look at that! Look,
My
see, my thing's good. See,
hey,
it's
my
good. Yeah,
my sign is, hey, let me try and do it on your screen. It's not working.
yeah.
I don't have an iPhone. Hey, but yeah, I mean, I used to hate, people that was way smarter than me in class.
You know, man.
Just
I'm like,
show off.
yeah. I'm like, dang it, though. I'm like, I almost had it. I was like, I was so close to being like
Hey,
the best at something, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, well that was cool. It didn't really serve a purpose. I don't know why you wasted time
yeah,
with that." And then they just
yeah.
make something like crazy impressive like that, like something that's gonna save, the entire school system.
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of like Jordan Peterson tells a story one time, and he's talking about one of his clients. You came to him, he's like, "I got this guy I went to school with, and he aggravated me so much." He's like, "Why?" He said, "Because he was so smart, and I just wasn't as smart as him, and
I
it
know,
just paralyzed me for life." And he's like, "Who was it?" He's like, "Elon Musk." He's like, "Oh, you weren't as smart as Elon Musk." He said, "What a traumatic
yeah,
experience."
yeah. I mean, I'm like, I'm not as smart as some of the guys that work at like O'Reilly's. Like,
Yeah,
I go in there and I feel like an idiot. Like, I'm like, hey, I need a battery for my truck. They're like, what size? I'm like, not double A's.
yeah,
I don't, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. Why don't you come check it out and see what you think? Because I know what it is, but I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want to just say it out loud yet, you know?
yeah. That's right. I'm gonna
Yeah,
hold my answer close to my chest right here and see
yeah,
if you got the right answer. I was just testing to make
yeah.
sure that it's your not first thing, you know?
Exactly, exactly. No, and you know what? I feel like all people really feel that way. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
to an extent, at least,
Yeah,
if they're being real.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the whole illegal immigration thing going on in the country right now, and the people taking over the cities in Aurora, Colorado, I think, and Chicago and stuff? Do you hear anything about all that?
Uh, not really. But you know what though? I've been through some of those areas, and they
Mm,
probably could use some people. They could use some new people. You know, I'm
yeah.
not saying illegal immigrants, but if we could swap people at least. You know what I mean? I feel like for every legal immigrant that comes over, we got to send one of ours back. It's like Red Rover, you know? Like you send one over, we got one coming back, cuz.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
should send shitheads. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like Donald Trump talks about. They're sending their worst people to us. So, I mean, I think we
Yeah,
should send our worst people back.
exactly.
So,
Send that school shooter, you know what I mean? Let him go enroll
right.
in school down there and see what's up.
Send send those pedophiles on down South America.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, they'll be like, "Hey, you guys got to stop." Then they're building walls. You know what I mean?
So, right, right. They're gonna keep them from coming back in, huh? But
Yeah.
no. So we're talking about stuff that we didn't know about and kind of being oblivious. And we were picking up some my wife's cousin and her husband from the airport. They came down from Colorado, and I was completely oblivious to the subject. And my wife asked them, like, "What's up with the people taking over that apartment building, the illegal immigrants taking over that apartment building in up there in Colorado?" She's like, "Oh yeah, that's in Aurora. That's terrible right now." I was like,
No
she's like,
kidding.
"So this is a real thing?" And it's like, "Yeah, it's Aurora, Colorado, and they have however many thousand immigrants that came into that town, and they just got dropped off over there, on buses, and said they're taking over the city, and they're in there, and it's like a sanctuary city. The police won't go get them. They just kind of free reign on them." I'm like, "What are y'all talking about?" He's like, "Oh yeah." And he said that he was on the news. They had a Korean War veteran or Vietnam War veteran, and this guy's homeless on the streets out there in Colorado. And he said that there was a group of them, and they were coming out of the store. He could clearly see they were immigrants. They weren't speaking English, and they come out the store and they threw a receipt on the ground. He said up there they put their welfare benefits, Social Security benefits, and food stamp benefits all on the same card. So, and whenever you purchase whatever it is, you have a balance at the bottom. And he said he picked up the receipt and it said $13,000. And I was just
What?
like, "Are you kidding me?" And he's like, "No." He says, he doesn't know how much each of them are getting. He said, but this specific instance, a guy had a $13,000 balance on his card, and he didn't speak English. And it's like, how are you getting? So probably not a citizen. So how are you getting $13,000 worth of benefits from the United States government? And I was like, dude, are you kidding me? So we
Hmm.
proceeded to drive east towards Gulf Shores, Alabama, and I always they got the Chevron refinery over there at Pascagoula, Mississippi. I'm very familiar with it, so I always stop right there. It's about halfway, take a little bathroom break. And whenever we pulled up into the parking lot, and I can't believe I didn't get a picture of this. It blew my mind. We pull up in the parking lot at 3 in the morning. There's not a soul at the gas pumps. There's maybe one car down there, and in front of this store is a yellow touring bus. It says Tornado on the side of it. It's got Tornado letters on the side of there. And in front of this store, there's a bunch of people, and they fit the description of immigrants. They got poor tattered clothes. They got kind of blankets over their shoulder for warmth and stuff, kind of worn shoes. And you could tell they were family units. And I'm like, how did immigrants, people that looked like they just came across the border, across Texas or wherever, how did they make it 4 states over? And it's like, oh, there's a bus right here. It's like, this is crazy. So we walk into the store, and these people are buying all of this stuff in the store. And I'm just like, where do they get this money? Because they clearly look like they haven't been to a store, but, they're buying all this stuff in the middle of the night. I was just like, dude, that's
Right.
crazy. And then, like, this is
Yeah,
that was thir- that was
that's
Thursday
our
night.
government, man. They're fantastic. They just,
It just
yeah,
blows my mind. And, that's
yeah.
part of it. It's like, you don't need identification to vote. And I'm like, the older I get, the more these conspiracies. I'm like, man, these things aren't conspiracies.
Nah, man. I mean, aliens one time was a conspiracy, and now
It's
it's like
it's
it's
like
not
all
even a
these
big
people have seen
deal.
the same thing, right? No,
Yeah, it's like
there's aliens there.
they finally say like, "Yeah,
I,
there's aliens," and we're like, "Yeah, we know. We've
dude,
always known."
I try to grow my own vegetables. I try to kill most of the meat I eat. I
Yep,
stopped using fluorinated toothpaste. I got well water. Uh, and I
yep,
try to do as much natural stuff as I can, and I really think they're trying to dumb down the whole country, and it's easier to
absolutely.
control people whenever they're not smart. It's kind of like an episode of
Oh yeah,
Idiocracy.
it's
But
it's coming true. It is.
yeah, and
I
so
can't wait for
I got
Starbucks to change.
right in Dispensary. But I went to that was Thursday night. Saturday night went to the store to buy some beer from the store, and it was like 2 in the morning time, and there was two Mexican fellows. They had fitted ball caps on, Mexican flag on the back of it, super clean outfit. One had a Tom Brady jersey on. Another one had a Boston Celtics jersey on. Super clean shoes, freshest fade I ever could say in the world. And I was sitting there, and they were speaking perfect Spanish. And I was like, "What's up, man?" And he just kind of looked at me, and I said, "Donde es la fiesta? Where's the party?" He said, "En mi hotel." And I was like, "Donde es la trabajar?" And I was like, "Where's the work?" And he looked at me, and his eyes got real big, and he talked to his buddy real fast. He grabbed those cases of Corona and shot out the store. And I was like, "You know where the party's at, you know where the beer's at, but you don't know where the work is." And I'm
You ain't
like,
got a
"You
clue
got it."
where that is.
And
Yep.
I was like, "Dude, this is," and it's just,
It's
man.
terrible, man. It's terrible, dude.
So I don't
Yeah.
know what to think, but it's just like I was totally oblivious to that whole subject before the weekend. And that they took over another apartment building in Chicago, and they were talking about in Donald Trump during the debates talking about people eating pets and everything like that. And I think he went a little bit too far with that. I don't think he should have been that
So,
attacking on the subject.
man, I'll be honest with you. So there's one of two things there, right? So if they're getting the money, there's no reason to eat that.
Yeah.
However, if they didn't get the money, or like if you were one of the few who fell in between and you just caught a
Mhm.
free ride and you don't have the money, man, I don't know if you ever been hungry before, but I'd eat a cat, dog, rat, whatever. Yeah, absolutely. I eat
Yeah. As
squirrel.
long
That's
as it's
basically a rat.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tree rat.
Yeah, cat or dog, that's gonna be easy to kill. Like
So,
I just call them here. Just they come right
yeah.
to me. Yeah, I'm eating. I ain't starving. No, you ain't never been hungry if you don't think that's happening.
That's right.
Huh.
That's right. But the crazy thing, and this is just another conspiracy theory, but somebody was telling me the Haitians, they actually eat the cats because they believe when they eat the cat, it actually gives them like powers. I'm just like, no. And they're like, yeah. I'm just like,
I didn't even know cats were that good at math. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy.
yeah,
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 they
yeah.
terrible drivers. I knew that about cats though.
Uh,
No,
yeah.
terrible. No,
So,
yeah, man. You know what though? I'll be honest with you. I never ate a cat,
mhm,
so it could be true.
yeah,
You got to try it for science.
absolutely. You got to, hey, don't
Yeah,
say you don't like it till you at least try it, huh?
yeah, you got to try it, dude.
Hey,
Dude.
let me know how it is.
Yeah. Oh, look, you put a little Tony's on that, dude. You good? You fix that right up.
Yeah,
Yep. You
yeah.
know.
We had
You know.
my
Speaking. I'm sorry. Speaking of food, my diet is consists of
Burger King or was
basically
it McDonald's?
McDonald's. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And we discussed that at work today. One of the other APIs was talking about that. He's like, man, you putting that into your body, you're becoming that, right? And I
Yeah.
was like, yep, facts, facts. X. I
Yeah.
said, if
What's your
you
go-to
leave,
meal?
oh my, I'm a nuggies guy for the most part, but I'm big on breakfast. I like to work nights and I like to eat a big breakfast, and that's all I eat
Yeah.
until the next
Yeah.
breakfast. Yeah, you know, I might,
24 hours, full
yeah,
sustenance.
that's it. Like, yeah, two sausage biscuits, a hash brown, maybe two, and then the rest of the
Yeah.
night is like nerds. Yeah,
Yeah.
so nerds and Cheez-Its. Yeah.
That's probably, hey, them nerds is probably why you're so good on the computer. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Just
look.
nerd now, baby.
Oh, yeah. You nerds and Adderall together. They was made together. Yeah. Their plants are right next to each other.
It's kind
Facts,
of like
though.
left and right Twix, huh?
Absolutely.
I didn't
Absolutely,
mean to
though.
cut you short. What that guy say?
Oh, I don't even remember. What was that?
I don't know.
Look,
Oh,
that's that
the good thing,
ADHD right there.
yeah, the good thing is that eating all at McDonald's, they have so many preservatives, you're probably gonna live forever.
So there,
See what I'm
that's
saying?
exactly, yeah, that's exactly what we were saying. So I told him, I said, how about this? You leave your lunch out because you put yours in the fridge and I didn't. You
Yeah,
leave yours on the table. I'll leave mine on the table. And in 1 week, we're gonna look at it. And whoever still looks edible wins, right? He's like, well, I mean, you're gonna win that. That's not real food. I was like, exactly. And I'm becoming that. Look how fast yours died. It died so fast. And
yeah,
mine is still alive and kicking. Yeah,
yeah,
you throw McDonald's away today in 30 years, you can dig it up. It's still good. You can eat
yeah.
it
It's
still, I
like,
think. Yeah,
yeah, it was like, what movie is that? Was that Charlize Theron was in? Whenever she got that stone skin and Catwoman couldn't even
yeah,
scratch her. You
exactly.
turn it into cat. You turn it into that. You know.
That's it, though. Yeah, basically, yeah. Be like a immortal, I guess, or mortal. What is that? Which one is it? Is it immortal or mortal?
I mean, depends if you watch Highlander or not, but pretty much if you're immortal, you live forever.
Uh, yeah, that's what
That's
I
it.
actually reminded me
You
of
get,
with the cats.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh, so what's the calling that you feel on your life, Andy?
Ooh, man. So that's a tough question. Honestly, I don't think I don't think it's necessarily about reaching a certain goal of greatness or anything like that. I think everybody strives for greatness, but I don't
Sure.
think that's necessarily the calling everyone has to have. And I'm not saying that I won't achieve greatness in
Mhm.
my life of my goals and my what matters most to me, right? Because what matters most to me might be, something that is completely irrelevant to someone else. And so I want to be great at what matters to me. I don't
Right.
need the rest of the world's approval or anything like that. I just want to be great in what I like.
Yeah.
And I think that's what everyone should be, just great at whatever you enjoy. So
Sure.
we're
So,
we're both kind of in the same spot in our hobbies, I guess, as far
mhm.
as we're getting better and better every time we do something, right? Everything we do, whether it be good or not, it still leads to a good place, right? It still teaches us something. So let's just keep moving forward and see where it takes us, man. But I would like to eventually expand a lot more on my Valve guide. I would like that to grow into something that is a little bit more widely used. It is doing great. It's got downloads in I think 5 countries right now.
Good.
Um, Hundreds of downloads, which again doesn't sound like a lot of numbers, but in our industry, hundreds is a lot. You know
Sure.
that
Sure.
that's a phenomenal amount to have at least viewed it and given it a chance. Whether or not they use it is up to each person. I just wanted it to be free to the user because I don't
Mhm.
want someone that's trying to better their self to have to pay for that through something I created. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
want to be able to give that to people. And
Yeah.
because a lot of people gave everything to me. So, I mean, as far as my knowledge goes, I received it
Free,
from someone. And I
freely you receive, so freely you give.
absolutely, man, give back. The
That,
more you give, the more you
that's
get.
biblical right there.
Yep. So, I just want to be great at that. And that's a personal conquer that I feel holds more value to me than really any other type of vanity. The
Sure.
vanity's fun. It's great, and it
Mhm.
makes enjoyable moments. But that honing in your life, like what you want. I just want to, yeah, just be great at that.
Sure,
So
sure. There's nothing wrong with that. So what so the Valve Guide is the thing you're most proud of so far.
absolutely, absolutely. Just because, I look at the greats in our industry. You look at the Rockefellers. You look at, um, you know, all of the guys that paved the careers that we all get to have today. And the one thing that you see across the board with all of them is that they always gave back in the end. In the end, it quit being about who's got the most money. That none of them cared about money at that point. They all had tons of it. It was who's going to give away the most. So they start building hospitals, they start building this and that and giving it away, man. And that became a new high for them. And I feel like that is a high for me. Anytime I can give or I can do something for somebody, it's its own high, I guess, because I don't have the millions of dollars. So I'm not going to build you a hospital. And if I do, don't go in it because it's dangerous and it's not well put together. But you know what I mean? But listen,
Yeah,
if you need help in any other thing, brother,
yeah,
I'm there. If I can help, I will help.
yeah.
And I try to just keep on with that, man. But hopefully the Valve Guide goes to the places I I see for it. But ah, time will
Try.
tell, man. Time will tell.
Yeah,
I think it's got a bright future.
sure. Tell me about your passion for graphic design.
Graphic design is a lot of fun
Hmm.
when all the puzzle pieces come together. When everything works out and you're like, dang, what I saw in my mind just developed right there and it's perfect. Um, and that is a great feeling, but it's kind of like sales, right? So for every 99 doors you knock on, you're going to get that no. That one door that says yes is why we do it. And so for 99 designs, they look like crap, which I don't give you one design in the morning when I tell you I'm going to make you something. I'm going to give you a barrage of them. You're going to just they're going to just come flying at you. You're not going to know what to do. And it's just going to keep happening. It's going to just I mean as long as I have a role with it, it's just going to keep on going. And
It's like I came
I
to that
know
I was coming into the plant that morning and I mean it's 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, and I'm coming on shift and you sending me all these texts back to back and I'm driving, I'm like, why is he sending me a porta john with Brokeback Mountain and all of this stuff? And I was just like, what the hell is this? And these guys in there, SWAT life, and I'm just like, what the hell are we doing? I got to work, I was like, oh no, let me tell you about these guys, these hands, they got caught in the porta john
oh
together.
man,
So I was just like, oh
had
my
to get them
God.
a
And look,
sticker.
you're
Yeah. You got to jump on it when it's hot.
that's
Yeah.
hey, you gotta strike while the iron's hot, huh?
That's it. Exactly, man. But yeah, the more I make, I can hurry up and get past all those no's because I
Yeah,
know you're not gonna like everything I make. I don't like probably more than most people don't. Like I'm a lot more critical on my work just because I see all the little flaws that I thought I was gonna be able to blend or get right, and that it didn't. But most people's not looking that deep into it. Most people's just getting an overview of it, and that's a wrap.
oh
So,
yeah, scratching the surface. Some people just
right.
get by.
But
Yeah,
I would like to see my work definitely develop more into a professional light where I can make those qualities kind of change to, I guess, not maybe DVD, but at least like a 1080p, like a
yeah, there
good
you go.
cam video.
There you go, like this, like a podcast.
That's it,
Why not?
man. That's it,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. There's so much that
Hey,
goes into it.
record it for posterity. You know what I mean?
That's it,
Um,
dude.
what about what about God in your life? You a praying man or what?
I am. I am. So, I grew up Catholic. Man, all my life, my grandpa was super, super religious. He was definitely the type of grandpa when you got in the truck, the radio didn't go on. There was a Bible on the dashboard that had the weirdest sun faded tanned cover on it, and you grabbed it and it didn't matter what you read. You just open it, whatever, and stick your finger on the page and start reading. And you did that until you got to your destination. And for that reason, I pretended like I didn't know how to read for the longest time. People thought that I was slow, and I
What's
wasn't.
wrong
I
with
knew how
that
to.
mute boy? That boy's
Yeah,
mute.
I was like, Papa, I don't know these words. What's this word, Papa? And I'm like, man, like,
Well, I mean, you from
yeah,
Arkansas, so I mean, it kind of goes along, right?
yeah, yeah, and of course, as you start to get older, your relationship with God develops more into something a lot more meaningful. So,
Sure.
uh, all through high school, of course, I did the FFA and all that, or whatever, FCA, and I loved it, man. I did. But as I started to get out of high school into college, and I was still trying to go to church and stuff like that. But I started to pick up on things that I didn't care for. I loved everything about church except the people sitting next to me, and
Ooh,
and I was like,
the judgmental ones.
the judgmental, man. They were always, and I try to be real with things. Like, I know that I have to have a conversation when I get up. You know what I mean? It's not gonna. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna hit it. I'm not gonna hit my gate key and just beep
walks
and it
right in.
open. Nah, there's gonna be some reviewing. we're we're gonna have to roll the footage and we're gonna have to go back over a few things. And I've got
All
some
that
explaining.
beautiful bean footage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why anytime I do anything bad, I try to go ahead and have a review of myself on. All right, let's get our story straight so we can have our notes when we get up there because we're gonna have to talk about this one. This one's
Let's
gonna
talk
come
about
up.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think
You
he's
need
gonna
you
hit
need to
on
find
every.
yeah, you need to find a good non-denominational church, some people that aren't judgmental, that good Bible reading people instead of people that are stuck in religion. I think that's the
Yeah,
key. Finding
absolutely,
a
man.
good
But
church. It really is.
I'll tell you, man, I kind of like there's days where I really, really want to go to church. I really just want to be
Hmm.
in church. And then
Yeah,
there's a lot of times where I feel very content with my relationship with God just because, man, I don't know if you know me or not, but I have to pray a lot just
yeah.
to just to just to maintain my life. I'm like, whew,
Man, some
yeah,
people find God in the woods when they're hunting. You
man, a
know,
lot,
might be in the tree stand. It might be
a
in
lot.
fishing. Might be while you're alone riding down the street. And I mean, that's a great spiritual relationship. You know, some people need to be
Absolutely.
told how to find the Lord, and some people just know. So,
Yeah, and I hate that for people because I've always felt like I've had a really strong relationship with God, and even through I grew up in a really big Italian German family that we had a
mm,
lot of people, and so granted, when you're a kid, you go to a lot of funerals, and
hmm,
when your family's Italian and they've been to a lot of funerals, and great grandma's 97, and we've all been tired of wiping her ass for the last 6 months. No one's really sad. We're all just happy she's in a better place. You know what I mean? And you get
sure.
one of them saying she's thank goodness she's in a better place. And it's not for her. It was for all of us.
Oh, for
But
sure. Yeah, my mom
yeah,
died in 2018, and she had a good Christmas with us, and it was great. She was there. She was able to see all her grandkids, and mama had a rough life. She went through a coma, and she was disabled,
man,
and like she had some rough times. You know, she would knock the kids over the head with the remote control. She would, you know,
heck yeah,
bust in there and just do crazy stuff, and we had a
yeah,
great time. And she passed. She it was done. I'm sure her organs were
yeah.
shutting down, and she died very young. But it was time for her to go. Just like you said, she's in a better
Absolutely, man.
place.
Yeah. So it's the thing, right? Whenever our time's up.
Mhm.
And
Sure.
some people's clocks might be short, some might be long, but that's not a decision that was left up to us. So
No.
you put that on the back burner, right? It's not as important because it's nothing you can do to control it in a sense, right? We can try to live healthy, we can try to do this, do that. But man, I've seen healthy people get hit by cars. And I don't care how many salads you had, Bubba. That that emblem is really up in there. You know what I mean?
Uh, got
And
lit up.
you know how happier you would have been if you would have had a cigarette in one hand and some McDonald's in the other, just living it, just like
That
living on a prayer, just right as you just crash. You know,
hey,
you're
that
like,
20
hey,
piece nugget, huh? Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it, though. Yeah, I mean, at
yeah.
least you lived it up.
What's the craziest story you remember from being in the plants?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I feel like almost every day is just it beats itself. Just because every day I'm like, because I'm slow at learning. All right, I'm not fast, and I didn't even use AI to learn this. But I learned if you do stupid things in these plants, bad stuff tends to happen. And
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes?
right. And, and I figured that most of these people, I've seen them every day I've been here, so I know they got just as much time as me. So I'm already thinking they've already probably got a plan in place to start fixing these problems because I know I'm far behind. And then I'm like, man, I think I'm the only one even thinking about this shit. Because, man, we just did it again.
And I was dumb. These guys are way dumber than me.
Man, all right. So today,
They've been here longer.
right? And I was like, I think it's idiocracy, right? You just keep on living, you just keep on getting dumber. And
Yeah.
they had a safety meeting first thing this morning, and I made it on time, which is crazy because I don't do that. But traffic worked out this morning, and I caught a few greens. So here I am. It wasn't on
On time.
purpose. I did
Yeah.
not try. That was
I
just what time I
accidentally
had.
showed up on time.
That's it. Like, there was no attempt made, and people were proud of me, and they're saying like, "Oh, good job." And I'm like, you really shouldn't say that because it was an accident. So save it. And
Right, right.
but our morning safety meeting is there is flying insects in the unit, and we've had a lot of there's a lot of wasps
A lot of
coming out.
bites.
Well, they said it could happen. They said it could. They said, we have the the ingredients, the temperatures, the weather, everything's kicking off. And I was like, shoot, they know more about walls than I do. I've looked up a lot of valve stuff, never looked up wall stuff. So whatever they say, I'm gonna go with because they've already said some words I didn't even know exist. They call them walls by names and shit. I was like, that's just a wall. There's red ones, there's yellow ones, there's ones that sting you, and there's ones that just scare you. Them purple ones, they'll scare you, but you're all right. With
Whenever they start calling me their Latin names, you got to get out the way.
yeah,
Apparently, this guy has
yeah.
the information I do not.
Oh, absolutely.
He's
Yeah, I'm
scary.
like, this guy should definitely lead the conversation. And
Mm.
so we had our safety meeting and telling us like, hey, they're on top of it. I was like, great, because I'm not. I don't even know how to get on top of that. So I'm glad you're on it, man. Thank God you're here. And
How much?
well, so the first equipment I go up today, I
Uh,
got to the about 90-foot mark. I'm a deck away from the very top,
yeah.
and I saw that. I was like, oh snap! I'm like, dang, good thing I called that safety meeting.
They're not gonna sting me today.
Yeah, I was like, guys, I already know. I already knew you was here. They told us,
Yeah.
And you know what I thought back on? I said, damn, they didn't tell us. They,
That they
they didn't
so
tell.
aggressive.
They didn't tell us what to do when you see them. They just told us they were out there.
You know what the good thing is, Andy? I used to do rope access, and we'd be up on the towers, and I had an old supervisor, and I'd be like, "Man, they got wasps up here." He said, "They don't bite at heights," and I was like, "What?" He said, "I'm serious. They don't bite at heights," and I'm like, "Get out of here." He said, "You ever been bit by a wasp on a tower?" I said, "I've never been on a tower with a wasp."
No, I don't go on towers with walls. I just don't
Yeah,
go there. I'm sorry.
right.
I had to plug my phone back up. You was right. It was not going to make it.
Yeah, that's all right. Just tell those guys in the safety meeting that whenever y'all have that safety meeting again, just let them know they don't bite at
Exactly.
heights.
They don't bite at heights. I did not know that though. That's an amazing new thing. But so it's funny that I already tested that out today though. Um
Did they get bite? Did they bite you?
Oh man, nope, they didn't get me. I was fast. I'm fast. I don't know. Look, I saw zoom zoom, and that was enough for me. I already turned around. I was going the other way. The other guy did not take that warning. He was at the safety meeting, but he wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Like he didn't know they was.
He didn't listen.
Yeah, he was
He was
confused.
still sleepy. He probably didn't have that McDonald's breakfast, to keep him charged up
Exactly.
throughout the day. See what I'm
Yep,
saying?
yep. That's probably what he was missing.
On time
Yeah.
with McDonald's saves your life.
Done, dude. Done. And yeah, I was out of there. He got hit. He got hit a few times. I think 2 or 3.
Did he have an EpiPen?
I think he just kind of whined about it the rest of the day. From what it sounded like, there was no major allergic reaction. It just a lot of whining was his reaction. Yeah. I was like, man.
Gotcha. Was he on the top? Was he on the tower still?
Oh yeah. Well, he was trying to get down, and he started coming down.
So the wasps really do bite it.
They absolutely do. Absolutely do. Let me go ahead and tell you.
So my old supervisor was a
man,
liar.
He was setting you up for heart failure. Yeah. But you know what?
I got stung by 87 wasps in my neck.
Just right there, dude. And there was so many in the site that I seen. It looked like a scene from My Girl. And I was like, no. You know what I mean? I don't want to be Macaulay. Not on this one. Home Alone? Sure, I'll take that.
That's right.
Not My Girl.
That's right.
So I got out of there, dude.
Hell
and
yeah.
My Girl just got smacked. Man.
Hey, you hit him like Joe Pesci with that paint can, huh? You're on your own.
Yeah. I was like, I was surprised that I was still holding my clipboard when I got to the bottom, because I was just like, nope, I don't care about none of this. And so I got out of there. But I told the safety guy, I was like, hey, man, heads up. Those wasps we talked about, they're there. They're not happy. They're not happy. I said, the problem is, you got guys up there on the top deck. I said, are they not getting stung? Yeah. He said, oh, no, a few of them's done been hit. I was like,
they just can't go through the swarm.
Right, and I'm like, man, so what we doing, Are we just going to pretend like they're not there? He's like, I don't know what we could do. He's like, I got a can of wasp spray, though. I'm going to set it right here. Next time you go up, bring it with you just in case. And I was like, I'm sorry. You didn't understand. He didn't know what API stood for. He thought the P was something with pest. He was like, I don't know. He's the pest guy. And I'm like, nope, not me. I ran away from 2 spiders 5 minutes before that. Yeah, like, I was like,
sorry, I'm an inspector. I'm not an exterminator. Yeah. That's not the way this lines up.
Man, I broke my clipboard swinging at one. It bent. It just it snapped.
Big wasp.
Man,
huh?
I'll be honest with you, it was a pretty average sized wasp, but he was coming in. He came in high. I'm pretty sure he even said, like, I'm going to get you as he passed me. I was like, yeah. You got to watch him, man.
Right on.
Yeah. So
how much longer you guys got up there?
They're saying to the middle of October. However, there's no way, if we started right now, could we get it back together by October 15th.
I thought you were supposed to be up here in Detroit on September 20th.
I talked to a few fellas, and they did hear that, which is crazy. Rumor mills are wild, dude. Yeah.
You were going to be over here on the 20th, That was word on the streets. Multiple.
There's always
multiple
that chatter
times.
out there, Yeah. That chatter gets people.
Word on the streets.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, though, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of marathon every year. I really have been. Honestly, the one thing that got me with marathon is they did a little research on their own failures, and I love that. I love when people research their failures, because what better way to fix your problem, right? And I feel like that's most people would prefer to say, well, I don't have failures. The people around me fail and cause this, And it's just not the right way.
Sure.
We all fail at everything we try. It's, it's part of it. You got to learn. And so they reviewed their failures, and they came out with this whole guide, like saying, like, hey, we had this many failures here, and valves were at the tip top. where they belong. They had the most. I want to
Oh,
say it was around 88% or something like that. I saw was their failures.
really?
To hold that kind of a stat, it made valves important. And even if
Yeah.
only,
Shonda highlighted.
absolutely, even if it was only in an email that got mass sent out to these guys, for at least a few minutes, everybody thought about it. And that's awesome, man. To give people.
So did you strike while the iron was hot and get that valve guide out to Marathon Corporate or what?
So I I was in the process of pushing it to valve manufacturers, and I haven't tried to push to any of the clients yet, but not as a purpose of using. But I do have, I mean, multiple of our clients use it. The Marathon right there in Garyville, their engineer department picked up on it like amazingly. It was awesome. It was probably one of the coolest, most surreal moments in my career, honestly. Was because of somebody who I felt like carried a pretty great title, you know, and importance in my career as far as our positioning goes, you know. And so for him to feel like it was valuable just made it feel so much more valuable to me. And it just kind of gave me that juice to keep pushing on it, you know. But
Absolutely. It's always good to be recognized or,
absolutely.
noticed.
And but I feel like
Sure.
Marathon really has tried to progress a lot and the way they handle things. Is there room for for improvement? Absolutely.
Always.
Always, yeah, always. And there's a ton of things that drive me nuts about them. But with every good relationship, there's good and bad, right? So you take that because at least I know the bad, right? And it's not hidden. It's not sneaky.
Well, the right, right. And this is something I noticed when I got in the industry. There's a lot of older inspectors. I noticed they're very grumpy gentlemen. And they've probably been through a couple of divorces and they got all of these horror stories and they can tell you all these bad
Yep.
spots. And the thing I noticed is like when you're a career inspector, you spend your whole life looking at something and be like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. So you're really good at finding a negative in any
Anything.
situation. And if you live your life always finding that
Yep.
negative and finding that little black cloud and everything, it makes you a miserable
It
bastard.
does.
So
And
just
you're so
yeah.
miserable with yourself that you become miserable to everyone else around you. And we deal with them on a
Yeah.
regular, you know? And
That guy is a damn hemorrhoid.
absolutely, man. And don't get me wrong, I always enjoy when we have one on the shift. I like it when there's just one, especially an
Yeah.
older fella, because I always want to
Yeah.
win him over, right? And then I'm gonna attack him from
Yeah.
every angle. I'm coming at him, you know. I'm bringing up history stuff. I'm talking the way,
Tying his shoelaces
yeah,
together.
you know, because I'm talking.
The pop raping his mouth when he's sleeping.
Exactly, man. You know, I'm trying to put myself in his shoes and be like, you know,
Right.
because in his mind, I mean, go look in the mirror and ask yourself if you look the age that you are, or if you mentally see yourself, if you vividly dream, do you dream the way you look right now, or do you dream the way you feel? I'm in my early 20s. They ain't gray in this beard. They ain't gray in my hair. Look, I'm living it good, dude. Which, granted, I didn't have a beard because I just learned that I could grow this year, actually. Yeah, first year.
It's a very manly beard.
Thank you. It's
It's a very outdoorsy beard.
It's very
I can see
woodsy.
you in the trees.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a very, I'm gonna say like
it's
like
it's a very Harrison County,
right.
Arkansas type of beard.
Yes. I do agree. I do agree. Very backwoods. Yes. I mean, great scenery, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
you feel
That's
like
right.
you're at home, but you know it's not.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't always get to grow a beard in our business, and I
Never.
just have to shave mine before I come up here. So you got to take advantage of
You
those
really do. You really do.
opportunities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I was like, man, did I hit puberty this year? I can't believe it. I can't believe that
Yeah.
I could grow this.
It just
Yeah.
They finally dropped and it finally came in all at one
Bam.
time. Huh?
And instantly I went from seeing myself as like a 23-year-old to like now I feel like I'm about 25, you know, when I mentally think about myself. But I think about that with old
Tell me
people.
about
So I just try to treat them that way.
what right. Tell me about the hunting up there in Arkansas.
It's beautiful. Unless it was last year on ducks.
I was gonna ask you about that, man. I'd love to make some duck hunting trips. I'm
Man,
trying to get Jonah to let us take a couple of trips this year, take a few clients out, man. I was just wondering what the scenery looked like up there in Arkansas.
so man, I mean, there is no better place to duck hunt, by far. I mean, I know there's a lot of hype behind Stuttgart. I know a lot of people hate it, love it. You have people who are gonna say that it's overrated. Um,
Mhm.
it can be for sometimes. Last year was a rough year. I went on a $3,000 hunt. It was a 3-day hunt.
Guided trip.
Yep, it was gonna be great. Very excited, you know, and it was about a group of 8 of us, I believe. It was all co-workers and friends, a few managers and stuff like that. It made it out, and man, the first day, the guide forgot us. I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like, you only had one
Wow.
group to take, and you forgot.
Did you guys pay up front?
We did, and this guy,
Yeah, that was a
yeah,
mistake.
he went hunting by himself, and this was like, damn, it's quiet out here. Like, it's normally
How many
so
did
much
he
louder,
kill?
you know? Yeah, he just didn't get us. So we had no idea where to
Yeah.
go because they'll text you. I want to say at like 3 in the morning, 3 a.m. They'll send you a message, and it'll tell you where to go, and all of that jazz. You know, the address. So you have to wait.
Yeah.
And so we're calling, texting, trying to call the company. They didn't answer, but they made it right. They took the cost of that off, gave us a free duck hunt, and was like, all right, so let's do it. So we go out, and there was just no birds. It was too dry. The weather was horrible last year.
Well, maybe I'm not coming to Arkansas.
If it's anything like last year, there was no duck hunting across down the
Yeah.
Mississippi. I mean, you would have had to go.
Right.
You would have had to push further north probably, and I don't know if they really had enough water either. We didn't have good spawns
It was
last
a
year.
dry.
This year is looking a lot better though. The Delta is looking at pretty good numbers. They're putting up very sound numbers actually on counts right now. So hopefully that keeps going. Hopefully we keep getting the rain and our air starts cooling off a little bit sooner this year than it normally does. And then, brother, it's on. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we can go to Stuttgart, spend a little bit of money, and have a great trip, or we can do it free on public land or borrowed land. Yeah.
Shoot, I'm gonna make a trip up there. I'm gonna come visit you, man.
Yeah.
I'd love to hunt some ducks, man. It's been a while for me.
It's a
So
fantastic time.
sure. What would be advice to 18 to 25-year-olds out there, Andy? Just starting out.
In the industry,
Just in general.
honestly, really in general, humble yourself and understand, like,
Okay.
you're an idiot. And the more you learn, the more you're gonna learn how big of an idiot. All right, like,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I feel like my knowledge can go toe to toe if you were speaking on valves across manufacturers. There's tons of people for each one that knows everything about theirs, but I can go toe to toe with most people on across the board. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing I learned along the way was how little I knew and how little I still know. I mean, and I don't even know where the end is. It's like looking into space, you know? Where's it end?
Sure.
I think I can see it,
Right.
but if I get to it, I just see it more. It just keeps going and going.
Sure.
So if you realize that at a young age and you humble yourself to saying, I'm still here and I have to get here and it takes time. Put the steps in and it does pay off. And honestly, you don't have to be the greatest at anything. You just got to be better than whoever's next to you. Just keep being better than them. You know what I mean? And just who you surround yourself with. If you're trying to constantly be
Yeah.
a better person, and I'm not talking about so much as bettering them as you never step on the guy next to you's head. It's not the way you climb.
Yeah.
You want to be better than him? Learn more than he knows. Work harder than he does. Show up and fucking put out. You know what I mean? Every fucking day. Get rid of the excuses. Get rid of the fucking reasons why. When people ask me, why were you late? It's because I'm a fucking piece of shit. It's who I am. But I'm a hard worker when I show up. And I'm going to kill it. And I'm going to give you way more than you asked for.
Yeah. When I finally show
Absolutely,
up,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you ever seen Back to the Future? When this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you gonna see some serious shit.
Yeah. That's it, baby. That's it. Yep. That's me, man.
Yeah.
That's me every day. And that's all right. Look, if you're gonna have a flaw, learn to make that flaw okay. Learn to make people accept that flaw. Don't make excuses for it. Make them accept it.
Embrace your weakness.
Embrace it.
Yeah,
Let them know.
embrace your
I tell
weakness.
people right out the gate, if this is going to be an issue, we're not going to be a good match. You know, I want your money, but I also don't want to hear you cry every day. All right? Like, I don't want that bad. Because I know another guy who he doesn't even care. He's like, just come on in, man, when you get here, you know? And I'll work for him if I have to. But I've learned that most people have come to accept my flaws and embrace the fact that when I do show up, I will put out.
I know whenever we on a job together, we always have a good time and get some
Absolutely.
stuff done.
Absolutely, man. And I feel like we always learn a lot. I feel like our generation, we're kind of like the in-betweeners. We're right, you know, we got the old guys and we got the young guys who we thought we were a little while, and then we're like, nah, never mind. Like, you going out tonight? You went out last night. Like, oh, you gonna drink again? Like, I'm tired, man. My back hurt. You know, like,
Yeah, I'm going to sleep
right.
at 8.
Yeah, like we're not asleep but you know, before the old timers, but we're definitely asleep before the young guys. And that's cool. I love it,
Right.
dude. But
Yeah, I'm up here in Detroit right now. It's about 10:30. Yeah, I have to cut it short here in a little
yeah,
bit.
see, I'm loving this, dude. I got you beat by an hour. So no matter what, I got an hour extra sleep than you. I bet you still beat me to work though.
Beat you to work
Every time. Every time. Everybody does.
Oh, really? Everybody beats you to work.
Oh, everybody. But let me tell you, you've never, like, people think they know how to talk trash about me being late. They have never seen me be on time, and they show up after me.
That's when you win.
I'm going to lay into them, cuz. I'm going to let them know. I'm going to let them know.
Yeah.
Like, man, like, hey, you know, you're not just a disappointment to yourself, if that's what you're thinking. You're a disappointment to us as well. So, you know.
You have truly disgraced yourself beyond all redemption.
Yeah,
today.
you know, I felt like you came so far to just jump off the ledge like that. You know what I mean? And they tend to get real fired up real fast, and it just sparks it back. So that way, the next day when I'm late, they can go back to just talking their trash, and it's fun. You know, keep it alive, man.
That's good stuff. Look, I'm about to cut this short, Andy. I gotta go to bed and go take care of everything else. Shout out to you, Andy. I appreciate you coming on here and having a little conversation. It's been fun as it always is. I mean, there have been instances whenever you've stayed on the clock 2.5 hours over your time, not getting paid for it. The damn timekeeper doesn't shut you out. So we always have a good time.
We do, man.
And how about absolutely tell people how to find you, how to support you, and help you on your journey.
So that's the best part about what I do, man. I try to make it super easy for no one. I'm as hard as the Valve guys to find for some reason. And it's because I don't like any of my work. I'm not proud of majority of it because I'm like, it was messed up. It's not good enough.
Well, how are we gonna get it out there,
I know,
man?
I'm just down on myself, dude. But it's not because of that. A lot of it's more like I enjoy doing it as a hobby, and so I'm almost fearful that it might become real, I guess, if it starts to get too much, you know, almost like a job. And that part scares me. I'm like, I really enjoy it. And I just kind of just soak it up. So the best way to find me is
I
you got to just find, you got to
uh-huh,
find Mr. Chad. And then you got to say, Chad, where is
uh,
that dude? Like I've got,
where's Andy
yeah, I
at?
got, I
Yeah.
got,
I don't want to grow up. I want to be a Toys R Us kid.
yeah, like I've got some bills that need adjusting, you know, I'm out of town. I don't know what's
Uh-huh.
happening.
That's not the way my check. That's not the way my checking account's set up. You got to transfer money from a savings to my check.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest with you, if you don't know who I am, I'm probably not even somebody you probably need to know. It's probably just more of a waste of your time.
You
Yeah,
you're not in the
yeah,
industry.
yeah, you would have already met me by now for sure. You would have definitely at least heard a story or two about something dumb I did or how late I was, because somebody will mention it. Somebody will be late and they'll be like, "You'll never be as late as Andy." So, yeah, if you don't know me
Right.
by now, yeah, there's probably no reason. Just, just enjoy this
Right on.
podcast and let Chad know if you need me
Yeah.
back.
That's it,
That's it,
man. But
dog.
if you're watching this podcast, you know Andy and you know me, and you watch us ramble on and have a good time on this thing and cover a wide spectrum of stuff. If you
Absolutely.
liked it, like and subscribe. Thank y'all for showing up, guys.
Absolutely.
Talk to you soon.
All right, Chad.